Star Trek Strange New Worlds is back. The Season 3 trailer just dropped and we're diving into every detail. New adventures, epic conflicts, and surprises you won't see coming. Engage. Well, hey everyone, I'm Nick and welcome back to Sci-Finatics. Well, finally, we've waited so long to get some kind of new Star Trek news to report on, and we finally have a trailer for Strange New Worlds Season 3 to talk about today. It feels like there's been barely anything to report on since Section 31 came out at the end of January. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for some kind of new Star Trek news that's newsworthy to talk about, and finally we're here. So today we're going to have a chat and breakdown of the trailer for Strange New Worlds Season 3. We've got a lot of interesting things to talk about. There's some stuff in there that I predicted to be true. We're going to talk about that and a bunch of other stuff as well. There's a lot to cover. And also, we've got an idea as to when we're going to be seeing this new season. They haven't given us a precise air date, but it's a season. So we kind of know within like maybe a month or two of when it's going to be airing now, which is great. So let's take a look at this new trailer bit by bit, then we'll talk about some of the shots in it and see what it has to offer. Let's check it out.
We want to give audiences a reflection of their own world through the lens of fantasy. You know, science fiction.
All of that with weekly space adventures?
Let's hit it.
So for starters, it looks like Strange New Worlds are kind of doing a similar thing to what they did in Black Mirror a couple of seasons back with the USS Callister episode. This kind of very retro, kind of obviously, you know, original series inspired take on Star Trek, where they're wearing these glammy 60s inspired costumes and the sets look very rudimentary, a bit like how they did back in the 60s. And this was covered quite well, I thought, in that USS Callister episode of Black Mirror, and it kind of looks like that Strange New Worlds are going down a similar road this season with something maybe a bit similar. I gotta say, Paul Wesley in the captain's chair in these shots, in this garb or whatever, he looks like Jack Lord from Hawaii Five-0 to me. I don't know what they've done to his hair or something, but he just kind of looks like the spitting image of Jack Lord from Hawaii Five-0. I just thought I'd say that.
Our reality has been changed.
I see it, I don't believe it.
Exciting, isn't it?
Good morning.
Good morning, bye.
Your host is dead, and one of you murdered him.
Now, originally when I heard that they were going to do a Hollywood murder mystery episode, I kind of thought, oh, okay, it sounds interesting, but it also kind of sounds like the sort of episode you would have got back in Next Generation with the sort of Dixon Hill type episodes or the Sherlock Holmes episodes back in Next Generation. But I kind of passed that off because it's like, well, there's sort of holodeck episodes you'd get with TNG, but we obviously know there's no holodeck on Strange New Worlds, so clearly that's not going to be a holodeck episode. It has now proven me wrong, because when we see this shot from the trailer, we see Lan and Spock in clearly a Enterprise D style holodeck with the typical black with the yellow grid lines on the walls and everything. So I'm not quite sure how we're getting a holodeck in an era that is like, you know, pre-original series. Is there like time travel here, or is like did they find a starship from that slipped through some sort of time vortex to the past and they go on board and use their holodeck or something? I'm not sure, but clearly it is a holodeck episode, this murder mystery, Hollywood murder mystery style show that we're going to be getting, which will be interesting to see how we get Pike's Enterprise crew in a 24th century technology environment. Now, probably one of the most exciting clips that I noticed from this trailer was something that I predicted back in October of 2024. That is the fact that Rhys Darby seems to be playing Trelane in this new season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And we see him here in an outfit that, let's face it, he's going to be playing Trelane. He's got the mutton chop sideburns. He's got the coat that is very reminiscent of the similar character that he played, Stede Bonnet, in the Our Flag Means Death short-lived comedy series. Someone obviously saw him wearing this outfit and thought, oh, he'd be a good Trelane. But what is also most interesting about his performance as Trelane is that I think what they are doing with his character is confirming something that fans have been asking questions about for quite some time, and that is Trelane a Q? Well, we see Rhys Darby doing the Q finger snap. I think this is a pretty clear indication that they are in fact confirming that Trelane was part of the Q continuum, but I'm not sure how they're going to get around this, because obviously we saw in Next Generation and Voyager and so forth that all other members of the Q continuum were all called Q. Now we know Trelane was a young primary school kind of level Q, I suppose. I'm interested to see how that's going to work around history and canon to sort of explain how Trelane is in fact a Q, but I can't wait to see Rhys Darby in this role. He is so funny. I think he's going to do an absolute amazing job as a member of the Q continuum as Trelane. We see an environment inside one of these biodomes with waterfalls, and we've got, platforms and everything, and we can see the Enterprise parked on the outside of this environment or whatever here. This love triangle that's between Spock and Chapel and Kirby is probably going to play a big part this season. We obviously see the fact that Spock and Chapel are in bed together in this scene, so it's clear that they haven't put their romance aside from the previous seasons and still leaning into that a little bit. And we obviously see a potential relationship forming here between Uhura and this gentleman. So it'll be interesting to see how that relationship progresses as well. It looks like there's some sort of event or something going on board the Enterprise there. But interestingly, in the background of this shot where we see this three-handed bartender doing cocktail shakers all at once, it says United Federation of Planets Centennial, like it's some sort of anniversary. Now, the United Federation of Planets was founded in 2161. Strange New Worlds Season 1 was set in 2259. I guess that makes Season 2 set in 2260, which makes that perfectly timed for a Season 3 to be set in 2261, the same year as the centenary celebrations for the Federation. Another great comedic actor, apart from Rhys Darby we're getting this season in Strange New Worlds, is Patton Oswalt, and he appears to be playing a Vulcan bearing a bunch of roses. So I wonder who is the target of his affections. He's always good value as well. So it looks like they're leaning into a little bit of comedy, getting a few really good comedic actors in this season for guest roles, which will be good to see. Here's one of our first shots from the Hollywood murder mystery episode, where we see all our cast in very amusing attire. It looks like it's kind of set in the mid-70s, I guess, looking at the costumes here, maybe early to mid-70s perhaps, based on their attire. And it looks like that Lan is playing the kind of the Miss Marple, Hercule Poirot kind of type investigator role in this episode from the clips we see in this, which also has Paul Wesley in it as Kirk, wearing a big turtleneck and a big wide-collared leather jacket. But this looks like it could be a bit of fun, and it is clearly a holodeck episode. Obviously the question being, how the hell do they get into a 24th century Enterprise D style holodeck when that's clearly not something they have on Pike's Enterprise? And I gotta say, some of the hairstyles and the costuming, with Mbenga here with the big afro, and Chapel with the big fur coat, we've got Pike with the glasses and the curly hair. It looks hilarious. This episode's one of those ones where you go, a bit like the musical episode last season, where it could kind of go either way. It could be absolutely hilarious and we absolutely love it, or it could be, oh my god, this is awful and so cringy. It's one of those ones where you go, oh, I hope it's good.
I got here just in time. We're going to wire the Enterprise.
Hello?
It's for you.
Port thruster standing by.
Do you realize how rare a show like this is?
Indeed.
Looks like they're leaning into a bit of analog technology this season, with what appears to be Mbenga running some kind of telephone cable through the hallways of the Enterprise. Maybe something happens that's going to affect digital technology and they have to kind of go analog or something. Certainly for communications, because we see Pelia holding two old rotary dial style telephones in this and seeming quite excited about the notion of going analog on board the Enterprise. We've got Ortegas being handed a very old style phone here, and a split screen thing going on between Mbenga and Ortegas and number one here, all talking on phones on the ship. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out in this episode, because we're obviously leaning into a bit of retro this season from from the looks of things. Here we see a shot of a massive explosion in space with a big shockwave here hitting the Enterprise. Here we see a shot of Scotty and Uhura. Obviously Uhura's sporting a brand new hairstyle this season, which looks really good. And it's good to see that Martin Quinn is a regular cast member as Scotty for this season of the show. Here we get a shot of in Pike's quarters, one of the obligatory dinner parties which he seems to have between him and his crew. We see Spock in the background there, Mbenga, number one, and also Laan. And also in the distant background we see that gentleman that Uhura was having a bit of a chat with earlier. So there seems like there might be a bit of a romance thing going on between him and her potentially this season. Here we get a shot of a very interesting looking starship here landing on this planet with Pike in the foreground. Maybe a Klingon vessel, this one, maybe some sort of Klingon shuttle perhaps, because we've got another couple of shots of Klingons here. We've got this Klingon with a big whip whipping someone, something in this shot here, and this Klingon here which looks got some skin problems going on, maybe a little bit zombified I think in his appearance. Like whether we've got Klingons turning into zombies or something this season could be interesting to see, because obviously in this next shot we also see Mbenga running away from somebody who kind of appears to be a little bit zombified or something. So maybe we've got a Klingon zombie kind of episode going on this season, which could be interesting as well.
We only have one shot.
That's all we need.
Hang on!
You know, Mr. Scott, we make a pretty good team.
Here we get a shot of the Enterprise, its shields being hit by what appears to be some kind of solar flares or something. We obviously get a shot of a roaring Gorn in this season as well, which will clearly be part of our two-parter, season premiere episode where we got to resolve what happened last season in the show, where we obviously saw the Gorn with that massive attack. And we've got Laan here with a phaser rifle in a very alien kind of environment here, firing as well. We've got a bunch of away team members here, all with sort of phaser rifles shooting here. So whether this maybe could be on board the Gorn ship, perhaps? A very alien-looking environment. We obviously know that some of these crew members have been captured from previous seasons, so whether they're on board the Gorn ship and they're trying to escape, perhaps, looking at this sort of very alien-esque environment. This could be part of the rescue mission. We've got Pike here obviously shooting a phaser as well, and we've got a big kind of green explosion thing going on, and all sorts of stuff with the clips here with the Enterprise and a whole bunch of Gorn ships swirling around it as well, which obviously is part of that little sneak peek scene we saw last year. To finish off, we get a shot of Kirk and Scotty in the bar, social lounge or whatever on board the Enterprise, having a toast there with a bit of scotch. That will obviously show some of the groundings of that relationship between Kirk and Scotty in this season as well. The air date, which they talked about, didn't give a specific date for this season. They did say summer. And due to also some Facebook posts and stuff from other broadcasters internationally that seem to imply a either late July, early August kind of air date from my understanding. It seems like we're going to be definitely getting this in the US or Northern Hemisphere summer, which would obviously place that as being, June, July or August. And based on the fact that some of the international broadcasters have talked about an August 1 air date, I would say maybe Paramount Plus could potentially be airing it maybe a few days before that perhaps, as the primary broadcaster for the show. So my guess would be a very late July. We now know when it's coming, which is great news. So yeah, finally we got some content to talk about this year. I was getting a bit worried there for a while because it's going a long while. We're into April now, and obviously since Section 31 came out, there's been little to zero Star Trek news to discuss. So I'm glad we've finally got some new content to talk about. But yeah, this looks interesting. Tell me what you guys think about the stuff we saw in this trailer. The Hollywood murder mystery. How do you think this is going to play out? Do you think it's going to be a great episode, or do you think it's going to be a cringy episode? What do you think of Rhys Darby looking like a Trelane here, and the fact that he's doing the big finger snap here is kind of implying that we're confirming that the Trelane are part of the Q continuum? let me know your thoughts on this and any other shots and things that might have appealed to you in this trailer for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. As always, don't forget to subscribe to Sci-Finatics if you haven't already done so. Click that big subscribe button to stay current and up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube, and also be sure to check out all my merch in the merch store where you can pick up some cool Star Trek themed t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, caps, all that sort of stuff, always at very bargain and discount prices, and help support the channel as well. I'll be back soon with another video. I'll catch you guys soon.